Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Our first segment of the day is regarding yesterday's White House press briefing, where NBC questions Karine Jean-Pierre on when Joe Biden plans on visiting Ohio, says it's been almost a month since this whole debacle has taken place with the train derailment. And we have Peter Ducey, the gladiator of Fox News, stepping up to the plate, questioning Karine Jean-Pierre on these business dealings where supposedly and allegedly the Biden family received $3 million from the Chinese. Wait till we get into her answer on that one. As always, support us by hitting that like and subscribe button. Leaving us a short, sweet comment down below. Your help support would be greatly appreciated. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Policies, and so we're just not gonna comment.
And let me just ask you one more, Karine. President Biden said several weeks ago that he plans to visit East Palestine. Can you update us on that? When is he going to be visiting East Palestine, and why hasn't he yet?
So the plans are underway, discussions are underway, just don't have anything locked in at this time. The president's words stand on what he shared about at some time going to visit the.
Sometime he'll make his way over there, folks. At some point, look, they've been saying that about the border wall for literally years, and then he stopped by and made a 3-hour trip. And by the way, never even talked or saw any illegal aliens or anything like that. So it's amazing here that you have Americans that are actually going through some serious hardships down there, that their soil has been polluted with cancerous chemicals, of which we covered in the show a few days ago, where literally parts per trillion was 100 times more than what it's supposed to be. The air quality is terrible. The fish are dying. Their livestock's going to be freaking basically tainted and polluted because of what's fallen from the sky. And Joe Biden's still not willing to make his way down there. All the while, he'll make sure that he sits there and caters to illegal aliens all day, as well as the Ukrainians, before he ever takes care of Americans. But he puts Americans first. He cares about you guys. Oh yeah, sure he does. Just look around you. Everything's a disaster. What is going right? Honest to God, what's going right now? Nothing's going right because the guy sucks at his job. She sucks at her job. Wait till we get to Anthony Blinken in our last second with Rand Paul. He sucks at his job. Is there anybody that actually is doing their job other than just wasting taxpayer dollars left and right? It is astonishing here, but he cares, you guys. He'll make his way down there. He just has to pencil you in. Yeah, no, sometime soon. Oh, it's been a month. Let's see if we can fit you in. God.
Community. Again, this is a community that the moment that we heard on February 3rd, what occurred in that community hours after, February 4th, early mornings of that day, the president and his team, Environmental Protection Agency and the Department of Transportation and other agencies acted right away, and they were on the ground, and the directive from the president was to make sure that we make that community whole.
So you're saying he still plans to visit. What's your message to residents there, to lawmakers there, including Democrats who say he should have been there already?
Look, the president has had his team on the ground since day one. I just laid out hours after we heard about the derailment.
We couldn't even get the transportation secretary, Pete Buttigieg, to go down there. Talk about trying to twist a guy's arm just to make an appearance. This is all PR, by the way. President Joe Biden going down there is honestly, it's quite meaningless, but it's the optics of it all to show that the president sits there and supports Americans. But like I said, he'll go to Russia, which literally he did before he would ever visit Ohio. He literally visited the Russians, and as he's going into the building with Zelensky, the air raid sirens go off just miraculously. They haven't gone off before he went there. They haven't gone off since after he left. It was just that 30-minute window where somehow the air raid sirens went off, and they're like, well, he was in a war zone. He was dodging bullets and rockets. It's so amazing, the whole gong show and clown show that's coming from this administration. But we literally spent years of them ripping on Trump and how that was a gong show and clown show. They make Trump look astonishing because Joe Biden doesn't have a damn clue on how to run office. And case in point, exactly what we're hearing here. Still hasn't gotten to Ohio. You're talking about a day trip, not even a day trip. What the hell does he do? Can somebody let me know in the comment section? Not just the live chat, but in the comment section, what does Joe Biden do? What is he doing that's so busy to where he can't sit there and make a 5 to 10 hour trip to Ohio and just get some photo optics of it?
We had agencies, administrators or leaders in the different agencies, regional leaders in the different agencies on the ground, taking action and making sure every day to make sure that the community is going to be whole. That is the message that the president is sending to the East Palestine community, is that we are going to be there until they are whole again. And make sure that we hold the company responsible, Norfolk Southern, accountable. That is also important. We are cleaning their mess, but we're going to make sure that they are held accountable. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, sure. Who's going to hold Joe Biden accountable? That's what the real question is because there's no investigations going on with this guy. And what I find interesting as well is that it took him like 48 hours or less to get to California when Silicon Valley Bank went down. He was there real quick. But here we are, 20 days plus, and Joe Biden still hasn't shown up to Ohio. But like I said, he cares about Americans. He's going to put America first. When he doesn't care about Americans, he's going to put Americans last, like always. He'll put the Ukrainians and the illegal aliens before he ever puts Americans first. That's for damn sure. Well, here's Peter Doocy, the gladiator, asking hardball questions. Let's see if he gets any answers here, folks, because it's towards the tail end of the press briefing. There's literally less than 2 minutes left. Let's see how she answers these questions. And they're serious questions, by the way, regarding the $3 million that supposedly, allegedly, for legal reasons, the Biden family received from the Chinese. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Go ahead, Peter.
Thank you, Karine. House Oversight says they've got bank records showing a Chinese energy company paying 3 Biden family members through a third party. What were they paid for?
Look, I'm just not going to respond to that from here. Look, we have heard from House Republicans for years and years and years.
Don't give me this House Republicans crap, Karine. They have the documents themselves, and she's going to sit here and not answer the question that a lot of Americans have been wondering, all the while Trump might be arrested anytime this week over giving $130 of hush money, $130,000 of hush money to his lawyer for a porn star. All the while you're going to say you're the most transparent administration ever. Literally, she said it before. And she's also said she was being transparent literally while she wasn't being transparent with the classified documents that were found in Joe Biden's garage. All the while John Kirby literally the other day was saying that he was the most transparent president ever. And now you're going to say you're not answering the question about business dealings from the Chinese, of which everybody has been questioning about since the guy has been running for office. Like at least it's presidency. Hell, this goes back all the way to his vice presidency. So it's so crazy, man, that she gets away with this crap.
How the inaccuracies and lies when it comes to this issue. And I don't even know where to begin to even answer that question because, again, it's been lies and lies and inaccuracy for the past couple of years, and I'm just not going to get it.
No, Karine, give it a try. No, you're so clear and specific all the time. No, give it a try. We'll open the floor for you. You got all the time in the world. You're the one that runs the show, clearly. We'll give you all the damn time you want, or give us a follow-up. Give us a follow-up on who, what, when, where, why all this happened, what's going down here. But, hey, most transparent, clear administration ever. BS. Worst administration ever. Least transparent administration ever. Terrible White House press secretary. God, I can't wait till she's gone. What are we going to do then, folks? We got no more content.
Into it from here.
Okay. She told Putin at their meeting, change is coming that hasn't happened in 100 years, and we are driving this change together. What do you think that means?
You would have to ask them.
Okay.
Strike 2 of not answering anybody's questions, specifically Peter Ducey here. So 2 questions, 0 answers.
President Biden said to lower inflation, we should trust the Fed. Now the Fed is saying that rate hikes won't be enough to quell inflation. Why does he still trust the Fed?
They're an independent agency. The president has always said that. He wants them to be independent. He wants to make sure they have the space to make these monetary decisions. We are not going to interfere. We are not going to get involved, and I'm certainly not going to comment.
Strike 3! No freaking answers. Oh, God, you know what? I don't even know why it frustrates me anymore. Honestly, God, I don't. And some people might ask, well, Brad, why do you even bother with the White House press briefings anymore if she doesn't answer anybody's questions? Because it's important to see the dodging, the manipulation, the spinning, and just the sheer right gaslighting that comes from this administration. Because we need to have proof of all this taking place. Not that we can't just go to the White House and YouTube, but the proof in the elections when the Democrats are going to vote for Joe Biden again after this whole shenanigans that's been taking place for freaking 4 years. It drives me up a wall, man. It gets me going because she literally sucks at her job. And I don't know why the press isn't out there full force in unison. ABC, NBC, the Associated Press, Real Clear Politics, CNN. Like, I just don't understand why they just can't band together for like a week, like get together as a group and just all walk out of the room or something. Like confront her. Like everybody will have the same question in the room. Why are you dodging us? Why are you gaslighting us? Why are you not answering our questions? Why are you not being specific? Why are you claiming to be transparent when you're not transparent? And I'm not hounding the press. They're doing a phenomenal job. And I'm somebody, a conservative Republican, where Trump was pushing fake news, and I'm sitting here speaking out for these great reporters. Not everybody in that room is great, but the vast majority of them are. And they deal with this, and I don't know why they aren't banding together. And I wish, for the love of God, if somebody can answer that question, because boy, oh boy, it's driving all of us wild, and we're just average Americans here. Well, moving into our second and last story of the day, speaking of what's hiding, people not answering questions, people not being upfront about things, we got Rand Paul, the one who's been asking questions since COVID-19's happened. 3 years now he's been asking what's going on, what's the origins, what's gain-of-function research, who's funding this thing. So he has Anthony Blinken here, and just watch how this guy dodges the questions, nonchalant, doesn't give a two about this whole thing. It's so reminiscent of the Biden administration, but let's go ahead and roll it. Let's Rand Paul do what he does, destroying Anthony Blinken and exposing this administration.
On September 12th and November 7th of last year, I sent letters to the State Department asking for records about coronavirus research that had been funded by the State Department. The State Department refused to comply. When Assistant Secretary Sherman came, I asked her the same question. She didn't seem to be aware that you had been funding coronavirus research, but you are. And I got the "I'll get back to you" line. A couple weeks later, I met personally with you at the State Department and asked you the same question. Will you not divulge to us the records of the State Department's support for coronavirus research, particularly in China? You assured me you would help. We communicated several times over the phone with another Assistant Secretary of State, who finally sent us a letter and said, no, we're not going to give you anything. So that's where we stand. And it's my question.
Most transparent administration ever, you guys. Oh, we care about this. We want to get to the truth. As we heard from Karine Jean-Pierre and John Kirby on the podium for literally years now, they've been saying this. Nope, we're not going to give you what you need. We don't want you to look under the hood and actually see what took place and what really happened. Astonishing.
The question is, what's the State Department hiding? Why won't you give these records to the American people?
Senator, thank you. And yes, I appreciated you raising this when we saw each other a month or so ago. And my understanding is that our teams have been working to find an accommodation. There's longstanding practice.
We got a refusal, blanket refusal. No, they are not going to give us the records.
We cannot directly provide the
Sure you can.
Unredacted cables. We have a longstanding practice with this committee about how we do
You're
things.
refusing. You're refusing to release them.
No, but
it's
I
not
think-
that you can't. There's a difference between can and may. You won't do it, but you can do it.
My hope is that we can find a way forward that answers your concerns so that you get the information that you're looking for. My understanding is that our teams have been working on that, and I commit to continue to do that so we can get you the
We're talking about unclassified.
Can we pause it for a second? Because I want to know what you guys think about all this. Because the way I'm reading it is he doesn't give a two about any of this. And I'm not talking about Rand Paul. I'm talking about Anthony Blinken. Like, his whole demeanor and the way that he's answering this is totally like such a middle finger to Rand Paul and everybody else sitting on that committee. Am I reading too far into this? Because that's the vibe and just the tone I'm getting from this guy, is that he just doesn't give a flat F. Let me know. Maybe I'm reading way too far into it, but that's what I'm hearing so far.
Material. Most of this is unclassified. And so we just had a unanimous vote in the Senate and in the House, and President Biden just signed.
By unanimous, he literally means unanimous. Not a single person voted against what he's talking about. All of them voted for it.
A bill saying he's going to declassify stuff. But if you declassify it and you still hide it from the American people, that's a problem. I mean, we spend all of this time lambasting authoritarians, and for lack of transparency, we have these silly networks on TV that are aligned with the Democrat Party saying democracy's under attack. Well, do you think transparency has something to do with democracy? You're refusing to give records
Yes.
on research. Money that went for research. We want to read the research grant proposals. We want to read what the people in Wuhan sent back to the State Department saying they did. Which viruses did they create? Because the thing is it sounds all great. We're going to identify all the viruses of the world. But part of what they do is they take a virus they found 200 feet down in a cave, and they mix it with another virus to create a virus that doesn't exist in nature, because they say that's how we're going to further identify it. There's a big debate that should be had whether that's safe. To take a virus from 100 feet down a bat cave 12 hours south of Wuhan and take it to a city of 10 million. And yet you won't help us investigate this. You refuse, and it is reminiscent of the countries we criticize for lack of transparency, and yet you sit there and say you're still going to continue to reviews.
Senator, I think there are very important debates that certainly go beyond my knowledge and expertise, for example, on gain of function, that I know there's a vigorous debate about whether the risk outweighs the reward. I don't have the expertise to know that.
But how do we have oversight or investigate it if you won't give us a record?
So the program that, in this instance, USAID was involved in was not engaged in gain of function work or gain of function.
That's a debate,
But,
and that's your opinion. We'd like to see the records.
so,
Fauci says there was no gain of function in Wuhan, and nobody believes him anymore.
you know, again, there's I think, an important debate about this. As I recall, during the Obama administration, there's actually a moratorium put on.
I know, but it isn't the debate. I don't want to have that debate with you. I only want to have the records.
Again, I believe that we can find a way to get you the information that you're looking for.
All right, but the last response we have from you is no. So the American public needs to know. I've asked many, many times. I've asked you in person. This is the second time in person. I've talked to 2 assistant secretaries of state, and the writing we get back from you is no. Not maybe, not we'll work with you, it's no. So that's
Senator,
where we are now.
No,
And you see this time and time again from this administration. You had the DHS secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas, basically in the same situation that Anthony Blinken's in, but this time it was regarding illegal immigration, telling Congress that the border is secure. They are a bunch of liars. These people are so corrupt. It's disgusting. I'm so tired of Americans voting for these same people, Democrat or Republican. If they're swampy, if they're a bunch of liars, they need to be gone. Why are we dealing with this crap? We don't need to put up with it.
it's not no, just to be clear. We did reach back out to your team just as recently as this week to offer to provide all of that information in briefing form, which is to say,
Briefing form.
Which means
we'll
you
share the
get to
information
read it and interpret it and spin it, and we
Thank
get
you.
to hear your spin. We don't want to hear your spin.
We're-
We want to look at the doc. We're talking
We're
about
not in-
grant.
we're not in
We're
the
talking
business.
about grant proposals. You act as if we're talking about the secrets of the Manhattan Project. We're talking about grant proposals, and we're talking about grant updates where someone has to write in and say, "Oh, we did this experiment and this experiment, we got this result." That's what we're talking about. Same thing from NIH, same thing from HHS. Everybody's hiding it. And it's not even really something to protect the Biden administration. Most of this stuff happened in the previous administration. But I don't get it. Why circle the wagons? Maybe there's nothing to see here, but then it makes the whole world think you're hiding something if you won't give it
Correct.
to us.
Again, this
So
goes-
just give it to us. It's a bunch of bureaucratic paper that we're looking to sift through to see if there are any clues, because one of the biggest clues we have that they did this is they asked DARPA, and we only know this through a whistleblower, they asked DARPA for money to take a coronavirus and put a furin cleavage site in it to make it more infectious. And lo and behold, that's what COVID-19 is. It looks just like what they said they wanted to create with our money. And we turned them down, but that doesn't mean they didn't do the research. We're looking for research like that they were performing. We're looking for something that may be in their notes that hasn't been public, that hasn't been sifted through. But what we feel is that people at State Department and at NIH and HHS are conflicted. Why? Because if you funded research that somehow is linked to the pandemic or a leakage of that doesn't look so good for the people who funded it. So we see this as a circling of the wagons and a conflict of interest that maybe there are people within the State Department who funded research who are worried that it might be linked to the pandemic. But we can't just accept your spin on it because people there may be self-interested, the people who funded the program. We're just asking to look at the data, but so far it has been no. We've had a few phone calls, but we don't want your spin on it. We want to look at the documents ourselves.
We're not providing spin. As I said, I believe we can provide the information you're looking for. We have longstanding practices and procedures in terms of actually providing documents and cables with this committee that we're not prepared to change. But in terms of getting you the information you're looking for,
And the only cables we have that are of value, we got leaked to us, or actually they were declassified by the Trump administration. Those cables said, and these were from some State Department folks, and it was amazing. And I don't actually fault anybody for missing it. I'm sure there are thousands of cables. But in 2018 or 17, they were sending cables back saying, holy you know what, they're over here working without gloves in unsafe conditions in a BSL-2 that should be a BSL-4, not a very safe condition, and that's why some of our intelligence people have leaned towards this coming from a lab. Why wouldn't you want to help us? Why wouldn't everybody want to help us?
I've seen those cables. You're right, they've come out, and I think what they said, at least as I read them, was that there were concerns based on State Department
Right. But
officials
we
visiting the
only
lab,
know
there
those
were not
because
a
someone
number
had
of
the
sufficiently
gumption to
trained state
declassify them. And I'll end with this because I know my time's up. Mr. Chairman, it takes one signature. He'll give all this stuff to me tomorrow if you'll sign a document because he said.
We'll see, because the chairman actually didn't say whether he would or wouldn't sign the document. But you have to love the aspect of Blinken here going, oh, well, we're not going to spin it. Nobody trusts you guys. That's all you do is spin. You were literally spinning the whole idea of Rand Paul saying, you guys said no, and then you're making it seem like you're going to give him the documents. Oh, well, we'll do it in a briefing, or we'll do it in a roundabout way. Oh, I think we might have told you this or that. He's like, you just told us no. And he goes, oh, well, we'll accommodate you. But you told us no. So you're not going to accommodate us. So in real time, you are spinning the whole thing. And then we're supposed to believe you that you're not going to spin it behind closed doors? Really? I mean, if this is what we're seeing in front of the television screen, or just our screens in general, we're supposed to really believe that you're going to be just so transparent behind the scenes when the dude's been trying to get the same question answered for literally 3 freaking years, whether dealing with Fauci or some other idiot sitting in front of him. But we're supposed to believe everything from our government. We're supposed to have our utmost trust in all these people when they can't handle a single damn thing. They can't give a guy a freaking spreadsheet. And they're supposed to just take care of everything. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below, folks. I really do read all your comments, and it's funny because our thinking aligns a lot, and I can see you guys just blowing off steam in the comment section. Getting all riled up in the mornings. So, if you haven't already, folks, head over to Amazon, buy our book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America, because hell, you're seeing it in freaking real time. The book is going to be timely for the next 2 years, folks, with the Biden administration running everything, because they're trying to destroy this country from the inside out. The Democrat Party and the progressive left are doing a damn good job of tearing this country down, and it will happen from the inside out before any sort of foreign adversary comes and attacks us. We got people, boots on the ground, inside the interior of our country, trying to tear it down from the inside out. That is Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. You can pick up your copy. Link is in the description. If you haven't gone over to baldbrad.com, get yourself a mug. Shib got his mugs. Cheer, Shib. Thank you so much. I hope you love the mug. He got shirts and everything. Hit the join tab. We do have people with memberships in the live chat, in the comment section with their badges and everything. Join us, folks. We need people to support the movement here, support getting conservative thought and ideas out there to new viewers. Buy yourself some merch. Hit the join tab. Buy the book, folks, and I'll see you tomorrow here on The Bald Brad Show.